To beam it towards the stage, please. We're going to welcome onto the stage your first act, Mr. Nicholas Shaun. Can you start to clap? Can you start to cheer? Go man, onto the stage, Nicholas Shaun!
Hello everybody. How are we doing? We all right? Yeah. Hello, you all right? Hello. 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 All right. So look, my big news from when I was here last year is that I'm getting married. Thank you. I was actually expecting mild indifference, which is how my fiancée reacted when I asked her. But no, that's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Thank you. It's actually my second wedding. My first marriage failed when my wife ran off with someone else. I say someone else. It was a twat. Are there any Ruperts in tonight? Didn't think so. Too busy shagging other people's wives. Now, I was a little bit devastated when the marriage ended, and I found myself stuck in this strange emotional cycle of uncontrollable crying and vigorous wanking. One minute, I was wiping tears from my eyes. You're way ahead of me there, buddy, aren't you? Yeah. Shaking back works every time. I actually tried doing both at the same time, which apparently is called cranking. But because I'm a guy, I can't multitask, so I had to stop crying. I did go on a few dates. I went on a few dates, but I couldn't seem to convert a chicken dinner in Nando's and 4 bottles of Lambrini into a shag. It would appear that I've underestimated the effort required to liberate the modern lady from her underwear. Until I met Suzanne. And most of you probably realise she's in the room. So 5 years on, and we're getting married. And she's a lovely girl. And I remember her saying to me in the early days of our relationship that my lovemaking reminded her of her favourite One Direction track. And I thought, how romantic is that? And she said, no, they're both 3 minutes long and a little bit cheesy. So in December last year, I asked her to marry me in a Japanese sushi restaurant. And to be honest, I thought the smell of raw fish was going to put me off my stride. But she assured me that that would disappear after a quick shower. I can't believe I'm getting away with this, and she's only right there. Now, what can I say about the amazing Suzanne? She's a hairdresser, which is great. It means I get free haircuts. But I still have to give her a tip, which is normally £2 to put the bins out, and it's a £5 to mow the lawn. And if I want to have sex, I have to book an appointment. But she's a busy girl, and I can never get a slot. Now, I was expecting a little bit more from my Route 1 vagina gag, but I'm happy to take a little more. Now, she's also a stickler for manscaping, okay, which is a very modern thing, and she insists on giving my undercarriage a little trim once a month. Now, to be honest, I found it a little bit embarrassing at first, but to be fair, it was far worse for the ladies under the dryers. Now, we've decided to get married in Portugal, and we like the country very much. We like the weather, we like the piri-piri chicken, and there's a good chance the priest will be a Pedro and not a pedo. But the problem about going to Portugal is we've got to fly. And I hate flying. Okay? I'm not scared of it. I just don't like sitting in a metal tube for 2 hours breathing nothing but other people's stale farts. Now, I have to confess that I am also, when I fly, I do make a serious dent in the quality of the in-flight air. But the thing is that someone being shot outside? It's a bit concerning, isn't it? We're being invaded. Yeah, I was talking about my farts. My farts on flights. My farts on flights, they don't smell. Well, I don't understand why. You probably have the same one. They don't smell. So what I tend to do is I tend to let out a few Tommy squeakers with gay abandon. But a word of advice, if you are going to do this, what you should do is remove first your noise-cancelling headphones. Don't worry, I won't be doing that joke again. It was always crap. But by the way, just in case, I've got my whole lap down here, by the way. That's why I'm not looking at a little fluffy cat or something. I just can't remember it. It's still down there. So, as well as flying, I don't like airports. And I hate those people that say, your holiday starts at the airport. But those people are the same people that like 4 pints of Guinness and a Jaeger bomb for breakfast. So you can't trust those guys. And I don't like the airport shopping. I'm going to catch a plane, I don't want a new wardrobe, right? And the thing that I hate the most, well, I don't hate, I just find it bizarre, the luggage shops, right? Who goes to an airport without a suitcase? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Right? I'm surprised those businesses still survive, you know, because they're targeting a very, very small audience. I mean, hands up, give me a show of hands. Has anybody ever seen someone dragging their holiday provisions along across the concourse in a blanket? No, never seen it. Doesn't make any sense. Now, the other thing about airlines, there's a lot of low-cost airlines now, aren't there? And that's encouraging lots of people to fly. You know, people, fat people. I mean, like super fat, not like me. Super fatties. Heavy snorers. People with astringent body odour. The Welsh. And the people the thing that I can't stand is screaming babies. I really don't like the screaming babies. But I do feel a bit sorry for them, actually, because I've got a theory. I think the reason why they cry on board planes is because they're having flashbacks. Okay? They're having a flashback to being stuck in a cramped, confined space, surrounded by family and arseholes. I thought that was quite clever, but obviously not. And the other thing about flight that drives me insane is the stupid, pointless announcements that they make. Things like, you fasten and open your seatbelt like this. If you can't open your seatbelt on board a plane, do us a favour, just press the call button and ask to be removed from the aircraft. Okay? Don't worry, the stewards will show you how to walk. The other one is pull the oxygen mask towards you and put it over your nose and mouth. Oh really? Well, thanks for that. I was going to stick it under my armpit. And the other one is probably, this is a new one. I've only heard this the last year or so. And the new one is, we can't serve nuts on board this flight because one of our passengers has a severe nut allergy. You've heard that one? Yeah. Well, I like nuts, so what I do is I smuggle a bag of nuts on board every time. And if I hear that announcement, once we get airborne, I pop open my bag and then I start flicking little dry roasted nuts around the cabin, and then I start counting and wait to hear a heavy wheezing and then a big thud. I get a bonus point if they're Welsh. That was worth the build-up, I thought. Now, the other thing that airlines do regularly, what I'm trying to say, is lose your luggage. Okay? It happened to me last year on a trip to Miami. Okay? I arrived at my resort, no suitcase. So the only option I had was to get a new outfit from the golf shop. Okay? That was a very awkward funeral. But ironically, my Pringle jumper and +4s were probably the most fitting to watch people drop something white, cold and dimpled into a hole in the ground. Or Grandpa Joe, as he likes to be called. Now, I'm getting to the end, you'll be pleased to know. Now, give us a cheer if you pack too many clothes when you go on holiday. It always starts off well, doesn't it? It starts off well. You throw in the shorts, you throw in the sandals, and then you throw in the Hawaiian shirt. Because it's perfectly acceptable to dress like a prick on holiday. But then you start having those what if scenarios. You're like, what if it gets cold at night? Better throw a jumper in and a woolly hat. Then you're like, what if we go to a fancy restaurant? I'll need a jacket and chinos. What if I'm mingling with homosexuals? I'll need this safari suit. That's what homosexuals wear, I've been reliably informed. It's all about safari suits. And of course, everybody's favourite are the budgie smugglers. Now, I've never really understood why are budgie smugglers called budgie smugglers. If you're going to smuggle a budgie, the smarter choice is a well-ventilated box with a cuttlefish. Remember that. Now, talking of seafood, I love seafood, and one of my favourite treats on holiday is going to a restaurant having fresh lobster. But it does cause me some angst, because when you're on holiday, you see those restaurants that have the live lobster tanks outside, and I don't like it. It breaks my heart when I see the waiter coming on, he fishes out the lobster, whisks it off to the kitchen, and then brings it out for my dinner. Right? It upsets me a little bit. But I'm surprised the lobsters haven't cottoned onto this. Okay? If I was a lobster in the tank, as I saw the waiter approaching, I'd act like a total divvy. That's a divvy lobster, by the way. And it works for girls when I walk into the beach bar. Anyway, that was a slightly flat end. But, you know, it had some peaks and troughs, didn't it? I enjoyed it. So, thank you very much.